Superliminal is a first-person adventure puzzle game developed by the six-person team at Pillow Castle Studios. It places you in the shoes of an unknown patient at the Somnosculpt facility who is undergoing a dream therapy session when it becomes apparent that you can't wake up at the allotted time and the simulation starts warping around you in an attempt to end the session.
Technology provides safe and effective dream therapy while you rest in the comfort of our flagship clinic. Located right next to the secondary overflow parking lot at the University Medical Centre. Somnosculpt, we'll make your dreams come true.
As you make your way through the session, you'll be solving a host of perspective-based puzzles in order to progress, and these form the bulk of the gameplay, with the bulk of the narration and story being provided by the computer AI overseeing the simulation and the doctor in charge who leaves you audio notes through radios dotted throughout the environment. The unique aspect of Superliminal's gameplay is the reality bending. Objects will change size and location depending on your perspective when holding them. Holding an object in front of you when looking down or walking close to a wall will cause the object to shrink in size when you drop it, whereas looking up into the sky or to the opposite end of a large room will cause the object to massively scale up. This can lead to quite some hilarious and unpredictable results. It's a really clever mechanic, and I can't imagine the level of design and coding that's needed to pull off such a trick, plus the level of testing to ensure that it didn't cause any bugs or break the game. It's an amazing achievement, and it really does need to be played to get the full effect. The main object of each section is to get to the elevators at the end. These elevators represent the sleep program's wake functions, and the levels you traverse go from mundane office environments through locker rooms and pools to endless parking lots. And these mundane environments are never boring, as they're all altered to give them a dreamlike veneer. You'll quickly come to learn that, in Superliminal, nothing is ever what it looks like. The main point of the game is to show how seeing things from a different perspective or angle can help you to see the solutions to seemingly impossible problems, and how looking at things from a different perspective can also change the world around you. This is an idea that has been seen in many different methods in many different art forms, but in Superliminal, it's shown quite literally. Here, a different view can literally change the world around you. That tiny doorway that's impossible for you to get through can be picked up, and by viewing it from a different angle, can be seen to be large enough to fit a bus through if you so wished. An enormous 3-story high chess piece can be shrunk down to the size of a pea simply by altering your view on it. Superliminal isn't just a clever gimmick, it's a clever gimmick applied cleverly. The genius behind this is that it's impossible to go through the game without dwelling on this as you use the mechanism to get through the sections. How often you've encountered a seemingly insurmountable problem or issue in life that turned out to, or would have turned out to be quite easy to get through, only if you changed how you looked at it. The literal application of this concept as game mechanic is really good and serves to really help to get the idea across. The game itself is quite well done too. The levels are well designed to be easy to figure out where you're meant to be going without you feeling like you're being railroaded at any times. The controls are fluid enough, there's a nice mantle ability that really helps with getting through the sections, and stops the scaling puzzles needing to be too inexact, which would have made them frustrating. There's only 2 voice actors in the game, the AI and the Doctor, and both are very good. The AI program's confusion and attempts to logically resolve your issue couple quite well with the Doctor's more subtle, calming assertions that while everything has gone to shit, there's no need to be worried because it'll all be okay. This is another more subtle message the game attempts to get across. No matter how bad the outlook, you can always get through the issue with some thought and effort. Even when things look really bad, they often aren't, or at least aren't as bad as they seem at first. There's an entire horror-themed section that highlights this masterfully, and I deliberately haven't included any footage of it because I really don't want to spoil anything on that section for anybody. Visually, the game is good. It's not groundbreaking, but that's not the point. The game is detailed enough to get the point across and no more. This isn't just good design choice, but it's a necessary side effect of having such a small team to work with.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce, and I'd like to talk to you about being special. So special, in fact, that we have no idea where you are. But not to worry.
The game can feel quite sparse at times, however, and with just a scant 2 or 3 hour playtime, it'll be over before you know it. None of the puzzles are really challenging once you get used to the game, so none will really cause you to get stuck. Many can be solved by simply brute forcing your way around the objects. There's also little to no replay value in the game. This isn't one I'll be returning to time and time again. In fact, the only reason I restarted the game when I was finished was to show off the mechanic to someone else for a few minutes, and I doubt that I'll ever start it up again for any other reason. But then, isn't that the point of all dreams? To be gotten through, looked back on briefly and then forgotten? You never go back to the same dream over and over again. In fact, that's the basis of a number of horror movies. It's such an alien concept. Much like a dream, Superliminal is fleeting and seems only to last a moment. But it carries with it a few concepts that subtly put across for you to think on and maybe take to heart. And much like any other dream, the meaning is there for you to unpick, not during it, but in your reflection upon it afterwards. It's not a perfect game, however. In presenting the concepts in such a dreamlike manner, the game runs the risk of losing a lot of its audience through its fleeting nature. The design to cram the game into a bite-sized runtime leads to a lack of any kind of fleshing out that would have really stood to the story, as opposed to the whole "welcome to the sleep clinic where nothing bad will happen" honest. Despite its shortcomings, Superliminal is a great little game that'll have you thinking for a short while at least. The neat perspective trick is a really good one, and one that'll definitely keep you interested for the entire game, short as it is. Or maybe it's the only way such a trick could survive without getting boring in this compressed time frame. Could more story and more game have been a detriment? Could it have been too much of a good thing? I don't think so when you consider the care and craft this game was put together with. Although with a meagre 6-person team, there's a real chance that this was all the game that they could produce. And if so, it's a superb little effort which you should definitely look into picking up if the footage intrigues you and you're looking for something a little different.